back or welcome to the channel. If you're new, it's Sahara. This is going to be my first video of 2023, so happy new year. I did a short previously, but you know, a short is not a video. Someone had commented on my short for all my Dollar Tree doll houses that I've done over the holidays. They said that please continue to do these, so I will. And that short that I posted for 2023, I did show that Walmart, Dollar Tree, all of these stores were having up to 75% off Christmas. I found this Turning Red ornament for Mei Lee, and I watched Turning Red on Disney Plus. This ornament on sale for $2 and some change. You could check that short out if you want to. For Christmas and Halloween, I did do the Dollar Tree doll houses, so I thought that it would be a perfect time, especially starting at the beginning of the year, to do birthday editions too. So if I see any ornaments or figurines along the way that I really want to DIY, I will be doing birthday editions. Right now I am just scraping, not scraping, I am sanding the Dollar Tree dollhouse because, like I said before, with these acrylic paints, they don't stick well at all to this type of material. Ooh, my table is so cluttered. I forgot to clean it off because I had threw everything on at once, and I was like, I'm just ready to get started on this. I'm going to be using the two paints from Apple Barrel. One is the matte paint in the shade Caribbean, which is this beautiful blue. Oh, can't wait for you guys to see it. And then the other shade is Gloss Beachcomber Beige. Now, the reason that I use gloss is because they did not have this shade in matte, and I do like matte better. Matte, I don't know, there's just something that looks a little bit more realistic of when something is matte and flat rather than like shiny. That part that sticks out on the roof, I'm going to be mixing a little bit of purple into that Caribbean shade. And this is going, okay, it's called Concord Grape. Good, it popped up on the screen now. But I'm just mixing those two shades together because in the movie, it has like this blue tone to it, and then some parts of the roof have like this blue purple. And you can see right now that the lower half is shiny. I do have that Mod Podge matte spray. So I think at the end, if it really bothers me, I might just spray it and see what happens. I hope it doesn't ruin anything. I don't think it will because it's just like a sealant. So hopefully it'll just mattify it. You can also paint it on with the Mod Podge matte, but we'll spray it. Now for every window, not the door, I'm going to be mixing together Territorial Beige, which is another Apple Barrel matte, and a little bit of that Beachcomber Beige, which is the gloss. I'm keeping the windows one color because I don't, you know, that's just going to be doing too much if I do too many colors, especially with what's already going on the house and what's going to be going on around the house too. The door is going to be painted a completely different color separated from these, so just ignore that for now. I'm just showing here, and I'm going to do the rest off camera, but I think that this house needed to be painted like 5 times. I did not realize that blue was like kind of patchy and streaky like this. You know, I feel like black, even though I've heard that that's not a color, that's like the only thing that has full coverage where you don't have to paint multiple times, but everything else, especially white paint, oh no. The matte ones are 50 cents and the gloss ones are 97 cents, and then the bigger tube ones are like $2 to $3. So it's like you got to get the $2 to $3 one if you want to have enough paint. For the wood that I always use that I get from the Dollar Tree for my doll houses, this is where I glue the dollhouse to it, and I also glue any figurines or any other things that I might add to it. And I'm just going to be mixing together again those two shades, Territorial Beige and Beachcomber Beige, oh my gosh, together, and then painting the house these two colors. I mean, not the house, but the wood these two colors. And like I said before, the one fabulous thing about wood is that you only have to do one layer. And again, I'm taking inspiration from Turning Red, so all the colors that I use kind of resemble what I seen in the movie. Chocolate bar, chestnut, flamenco red, Territorial Beige. Is there another color? I guess a little bit of Snow White too. Mixing all of those colors together. Listen, I be using like so many different colors, just mixing them together to get the best results. And I'm just mixing them together, and I guess I mixed in red apple too. Oh gosh. Oh yeah, I am mixing in a little bit of red apple to make it a little bit more red. So yeah, this is what's going to be the color of the door and the border of the door too. So I'm painting that whole area, all of these shades mixed together. Like I said, these paints are 50 cents, so it's like, it's worth it. You don't do too much damage wasting paint when it costs so little. For this next step, I am going to be making front door statues and I'm going to be using Kung Fu Panda. Now, I did get these figurines from the Dollar Tree. Like I've said before, Dollar Tree started selling figurines. Disney, Paramount, all of these different companies, they sell them. I was lucky that they sold Kung Fu Panda because it is very fitting for the Chinese theme and the Chinese culture. I think her name is Master Tigris or Tigers. I can't remember. I haven't watched Kung Fu Panda in so long. I'm going to be using that method, well, doing that method that I did for my Halloween fence that I did for the Wicked house, and I'm going to be taking some of these craft sticks and also some of that clay that I got from the Dollar Tree too. I used the clay in my last DIY, which was the Nightmare Before Christmas snow globe, and I'll talk more about that later, but for now we're going to focus on this. I'm going to be splitting them in half, cutting off the end part so it's not round, and glue boxing it glue boxing it together to make like a stand for it. Now I am just going to keep this part in, so if you did want to do a step like this, you can, because I am going to change it up later and you will see why. Even when I painted it, I didn't want it to look like wood, so what I'm just doing is smashing, molding, I should say, the clay to the wood so that when it dries to like that clay type of material, and then you can paint over it. And as you're molding the clay together like this, you're supposed to be wetting your fingers so that it'll smooth on better. But what it's going to do is it's going to leave cracks in it, which is going to be good for me because that'll give a more concrete look to it with the cracks. So if you do want to have some sort of cracks in the clay, then don't use water to mold it together, but just make sure that it's stuck together so when it does dry, it doesn't completely start falling apart. And it does take 24 hours to dry fully. This walkway was another thing that I found at the Dollar Tree on clearance, well, sale because of the Christmas sale. And this is from their miniatures collection for Christmas. I don't know if they just recently started selling this year or maybe last year. Well, not this year, it'd be last year, but the year before that. This was $1.25. It was on sale for 50 cents. For my previous Dollar Tree doll houses, I've been making my own walkway using these stones slash pebbles from the Dollar Tree, or I'll use a different method. But I found this, and the one thing that I like about this is they kind of rolled it into different sections, so that's kind of how I'm going to be cutting it off. So I'll have five of these for any Dollar Tree doll houses that I wanted to create. So I think that that's a better deal than trying to glue the whole strip down. Using that same method that I did earlier for the other previous wood, I did the same thing for this and just made it into a little small box. I got these cherry blossom trees from Michael's. There's 2 in a pack. These are about $6 and I had 30% off discount. So I'm just going to be sticking this in here. This wood is not sturdy enough to hold it, so I am going to have to mold a little bit of that clay to it to help it hold up because it was just not holding up on its own. All you have to do is take just a little bowl of clay and just stick the wood down into it, let it sit overnight, and it literally looks like some sort of vase or vase, however you want to pronounce it. I am going to go ahead and paint it that country gray shade because, like I said, these things take overnight and I was just anxious to go ahead and start painting. It does take a little bit longer to fully dry, but it will get there. And since this was such like a small thing, it just really didn't matter to go ahead and paint it right now. I am also going to be taking a little bit of this green moss and sticking it in there, but I guess my camera shut off before I could see. For this next part, I'm just going to be mixing in a little bit of the gloss paint in the shade yellow, and there was some brown paint that I used earlier still left in there. So I just mixed it together, and I kind of like how this dirty yellow looks. It's like a dirty blonde, but dirty yellow. And then I still have this piece of wood that I broke off earlier. It has a little thin side to it, and you can go ahead and use a little fine art brush, but art brushes to me are not as sturdy. Well, sturdy enough for me to have a steady hand. So that's why I'm just using this wood for this part. And I'm going to be making those Chinese letters that I seen on one of the houses, well, the actual house in Turning Red. It had it around like the door. Those Chinese letters are very, very hard to mimic. So I'm just doing the best I can, and I think I'm going to be doing 4 letters on each side of the border of the door. I'm mixing together all of those shades again, and I allowed the clay to dry overnight. This is what I'm going to be using as the stand, or so I thought I was. But again, I'm just showing how everything's gonna look, so if you did want to recreate this part right here, you can go ahead and do that. They are too long, but they are not sturdy enough. Now, I was thinking of the way I did it for the cherry blossom tree by sticking the wood into the clay, but it just was not going to stick to the actual base wood of the house. So that was the problem, was it just was not enough sticking to the base wood, and it was just leaning. The tigers, Miss Tigress or Tigress, she was just going to be too heavy and leaning everything to the side as well. So I am going to just have to change it up. I am going to go ahead and paint her all of those colors as well, because I just want it to be one solid color from the statues to the wood, and it's easy to paint her. She does not have to be sanded or anything like that. The material makes it easy to just do one layer. This is the part right here where I said I was doing new statues, and unfortunately I did not get them on camera because I was like, I'm just going to do something right quick, and if I like it, I like it. Then I don't, then I just pretend I never did it. And I'll just keep these. The statue I'm showing up close, I'm just showing how it came out, you know, with the cracks in it. Like I said, when it's fully dry, it's really hard. But anyway, going back to what I created, I'm just going to take you through how I created it. The top part of it, where it's flat at and kind of squared off, I just smushed the wax. I mean, not the wax, the clay. Where did I even get wax from? But I smushed the clay at the top. Then for the next part, where it's like the little balls where it's round at, you know, obviously I just balled up a little bit of clay, stuck it right there, stuck those two pieces together. The bottom of it, where it's actually stuck to the wood at, I'll just link the Nightmare Before Christmas DIY snow globe that I did, because I recreated that mountain that Jack was on. You know, you can kind of see there, get an idea of how I would have smushed that, and then I just stuck it to the wood. For that little clay that I molded in the little corner right there, I bought this mini red panda from Etsy. A seller, I think she made it and she was selling it for $2. So now, unfortunately, I did see at the last minute, which was too late, not last minute, but too late.
Oh, that's nothing.
Hallmark is selling the red panda that Mei Lee did turn into, the big one, at Hallmark for like $4. So I definitely could have bought that instead, so I can actually have the red panda instead of this little mini one, because she needed to be bigger. But you know, it is what it is. This is what I did, and it's too late. Something cool that I was thinking though was, for my Grinch house, I did buy this pic that I got from Hobby Lobby, attached it to the back of the house, and then attached a sign to it pointing down to the Grinch. So I think that if you could find like some sort of hard wire, you can wrap it around the red panda and let it hang from the top of the house. In the movie, she was jumping from roof to roof, so I think that that would be something cool to consider. Overnight, and look at that, I just knocked it right over. When you put it in sections, like I said, how I did the flat part, then the ball, if it's not like, I don't know, this clay seems like it does not want to like attach to itself or anything else, so you have to use the E6000 glue. Overnight, I was trying to figure out how I was going to attach these statues to it. I could not just do one leg because it was leaning, so I had to kind of split it in half like this, and then I used this air freshener to help it stand up, and now I'm going to have to redo that all over again. When you apply this clay in sections, you definitely want to make sure to E6000 glue it. Now, this E6000 glue takes about 24 hours to fully dry, but I heard that if you use a blow dryer on low setting, you can speed up the drying process, but I'm not going to do that because I don't want to start melting anything else. Just going to start painting over it, because that's what I was going to do after I let this sit 24 hours. Now I got to wait again. I'm just kind of trying to get all of this stuff done at once, because right now it's taking like a couple of days for me to do everything, because everything has to like dry 24 hours. So back to these statues, I'm going to be using that red apple paint, and this time I'm just going to be using one of those fine thin liner art brushes, and I'm going to be painting the eyes red. Now I'm going to be doing a little dot that connects from like the bottom of the lid to the top of the lid, and then doing like a line for the brows. It's kind of gonna look like a glowing evil lion eye. I don't know, tiger eye, lion eye. I'm making it red since she turned into like a red panda, so it would make sense to make it red. Now I also had the idea to make the hands glow red, because there's like a part on the tiger's hands where it looks like she has some sort of I don't know, I think it's just the paw print, honestly, but I thought that it would be cool to make it look like it was like a red glowing light right there. But it didn't come out looking right, so I'm just gonna scratch that. For the little red panda, I am going to be mixing together the shades Red Apple and the orange one, Harvest Orange. Her panda is like a red orange. Now I think that this panda looks a little bit more like a brown orange. And I'm also going to be doing a light layer. So any texture that this panda has to it, it'll still show through after the paint dries. So I'm going to start off by mixing those two shades together and painting that part first. Then we can go back and paint the little white and black details back into it. I went ahead and angled the camera a different way because I knew for a fact that I just had to get this one closer. I'm just going to start painting in the detail with the fine art brush. I'm going to be using the Snow White paint to paint the certain parts white, or especially around the face area, and it's so cute. And then for the rest of like the body and the tail, I'm going to be mixing together the yellow paint and the orange paint. I said the panda looked like she was like a red orange. And for the body, I'm just kind of like sparsely, I think that's the word for it, like kind of painting it on so it's not opaque. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue it on. I was like, might as well just do it now. And I'm definitely going to E6000 glue it because it's going to have to sit on top of that clay. And we all know by now that clay does not want to stick without that E6000 glue. I'm putting this in quickly because I almost threw my paint palette away and I was like, oh no, I almost forgot to paint the rest of this part on. Online, I looked up the word tiger in Chinese and I found like this little translation that showed me how to do the Chinese letters for tiger. And again, it's very hard to do these, especially without the right type of tool to get it precise. So I'm just doing the best I can. And I'm using the same color, the yellow plus the mix of a little bit of the brown because I wanted it to be gold and I felt like that looked more gold than going in with yellow. So same colors that I used on the house. On Etsy, those shoe buttons that you can get to put in like Crocs, somebody was selling the turning red one. So I had the idea to buy that one to put it on the front of the door of the house. But instead, on the ornament box, they had the turning red sign on there. I just went ahead and cut it out and I'm going to glue it from there. But that's another thing that you can add are the buttons that I'm going to be showing. And I'm glad I cut out this one instead because it is the perfect size. I'm just going to try to spray that Mod Podge matte on it. I felt like it did not do much of a difference to making it look matte. It's probably going to be best to paint it on with the actual squeezy tube Mod Podge rather than spraying it, but I'm just spraying it and that's going to be it. I'm not going to even bother painting it. So I just received my Etsy buttons in the mail for Mei Lee's friends in the movie, so I can finally finish this house up. So I'm going to go ahead and start unraveling everything, and I'm just going to take apart the you know, the part for the ornament where you hang it up at. It was kind of stiff, so I don't know what was going on with this ornament, but the other ornaments are just unscrewed easily. So there's going to be a little hole on top of Mei Lee's head, but it's not that noticeable. These are the buttons from Etsy that I bought for her friend. So we have, I don't know her friend's names, hold on. Okay, there's Priya, there's Abby, and then there's Miriam in that order that I just grabbed for them. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut the buttons, the part off the back of the buttons. That's just the part where if you're wearing Crocs, because these are for Crocs, you know, you could just put them through the hole. So anytime I buy buttons, like the buttons that I was buying from Hobby Lobby, I'll just cut it off the back and just glue it from there. The first friend I'm going to be gluing is Miriam, and I'm gluing her directly to the house. She is the tallest one, so that's why she's gonna look better on the house like this and not in the way of anything like the front of the door or on the roof or something like that. The next friend I'm gluing is Abby, the craziest one from the movie, and I think the funniest one, which is why she's doing that kick. And she's going to go on the top of the roof part. I originally had the idea to place all three of them on the roof because during the movie, at one part when Mei Lee was the big panda, they were all on the roof at the boys' party. And I was going to do it like that, but they're too big to go up there, so they have to go in their own spots. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue the house directly to the wood now. Priya is going to go on the walkway part, and it's kind of going to be in the middle, so when you look directly through, you'll be able to see her, but it's kind of also going to go off to the side a little bit, so she's not blocking the turning red sign, and that's why I said that Miriam couldn't be in the front like that because she's too tall. And see, you can see like she's right there. She's good. You can see her, but she's not blocking. Of course, glue down the star of the show, Mei Lee. Well, half of the star of the show. The other star is on the other side on top of the rock. The best part about gluing all of this stuff is all you have to do is use the hot glue. You don't have to use that E6000 glue and wait 24 hours. And this brings us to the end of the Turning Dollar Tree Dollhouse into Turning Red. I hope that you guys enjoyed. I had so much fun creating this. We went through a couple of ups and downs, but we finally made it through to the end. I'm really excited about how it came out. If there's, like I said, if there's anything that I would add on to it, I wouldn't change anything, but what I would add on is the big panda. I still like how this little small one looks. It's so cute. But I would add that big panda to the roof part, like I said, to make it look like it was flying. Because I showed my mom this because I wanted to get her idea of how it would look before I put it out. She said that it would have been cool to have Mei Lee's mom peeking through somewhere, since Mei Lee's mom was always nosy through the movie. Yeah, those are just like two things that I would just add on to that. But other than that, I really like how it turned out. And I hope you guys do too. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I will see you guys in my next video.